are our future. And I'm pleased to introduce Adam Edelbrook, who's a senior at Fieldston School in the Bronx. And he's a member of the Youth Council of an organization that we work with called Friends Against Violence Everywhere. And after Adam speaks, we're happy to take questions. So Adam Edelbrook is E-T-T-E-L-B-R-I-C-K.
My alma mater.
Oh. Almost 2 years ago, 1 year, 11 months, and 28 days to be exact, we witnessed one of the most horrific crimes ever committed, and certainly one of the most horrific in my lifetime. As I sat in class that Friday, the news updates kept coming. Reports of a shooting at an elementary school. Confirmed shooting. Several children reportedly shot. Police have entered the building. And then 26 reported dead. Each notification hit me harder, and by the final one, I had lowered my head onto the desk and shut my eyes. I didn't think it could be true. The final count, 20 children and 6 adults dead. Children who had just that morning said goodbye to parents who thought they would be asking those children how school was later. I remember a lot of random things about that day. The nightmarish quality the sun gave it, the fact that it was a Friday, which is the best day of the week for some. I couldn't understand how such a tragic and inhuman event could start off on what was a sunny day. Could happen on what started off as a sunny day. I cannot fathom how the loved ones of those lost that December could have felt that day, because how they felt had to be a lot worse than how I felt, and how I felt was incomprehensible. The only good thing that could possibly come from this, I thought, is assurance that it will never happen again. There will be legislation, I reasoned, and people will not stand for such unnecessary violence. I was wrong. And as I stand here today, I can tell you that since Newtown, there has been a fatal school shooting at least once every 5 weeks. I can tell you that in the last 72 hours, there have been more gun deaths listed in the gun violence archive than I can count. I can tell you that this past year alone, more than 154 shootings classified as mass shootings, and over 150 children have been killed as a result of gun violence. I can tell you that there have been over 365 accidental deaths due to guns this year. That is more than one death for every single day. That is more than one death for every single day that could have easily been prevented by laws like Nicholas's Law. Given the recent unrest in this country, it is also my moral obligation to point out here that many of these deaths are by the hands of those who have sworn to protect the community and not destroy it. But law enforcement uses lethal force on someone once every 28 hours. While many of these instances are certainly justified as self-defense, we live in a system that administers injustice to people based on the color of their skin, where the weapon for that injustice is so often a gun, and that injustice is murder. So ending this loathsome trend of death that accompanies guns should be as much for Akai Gurley, Michael Brown, and countless others as it is for any victim of gun violence. This is an epidemic. This is not right. This has become a complacent nation that is needlessly killing people every single day. Every single person who claims not to support regulation for fear of losing their right to bear arms has blood on their hands, because they decided that their right is more important than the right that children like Nicholas and the kids who were killed on that day in Sandy Hook have to live. Every elected official who is not seeking to end this epidemic has blood on their hands, because they are not protecting the people they are elected to represent. Keeping in mind some of the last words of a man who was recently choked to death, where many have been shot, I ask you all to join in with me in an anthem that condemns gun violence in America and in the world by saying, "This stops today." Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. I'd like to also acknowledge Assembly